Okay, we're recording.
Okay. Okay, so I will call the meeting to order. It's 7:01, June 11th, 2026. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Flores?
Here.
Gonzalez? Here. Hussein? No. Jost? No. Masajek? Here. Moldowski? Here. Pelletier? Here. Okay. Public comments, agenda items only. Okay. So we're going to do a slight adjustment of the agenda. We're going to move up the item under new business presentation of the 2025 audit up now. Martha is kind enough to join us tonight. Hello, Martha. Thank you so much. Good evening. So, I mean, we're not kicking you out. You're welcome to join the rest of the meeting, but we know that you're busy, so we thought we'd move this up so that way you can take us through the audit highlights, and then you're welcome to lead after that. So.
Of course, thank you. Good evening, I'm Martha Trotter. I'm here on behalf of Sikich to present the results of the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025 audit. So we've completed the audit engagement and have issued the annual financial report as well as the separate board communication, which is the smaller of the two reports that you should have received. The board communication contains certain items that our auditing standards require us to communicate to those charged with governance, while the annual financial report is your audited financial statements, and that's where you'll find the opinion based on the procedures that we performed in accordance with our audit conducted in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. I would like to first extend our team's appreciation for all of the effort that goes into preparation for an audit, all of the work that goes into it. We understand that we do ask for a lot of things. We have a lot of questions in order to be able to provide our opinion on the financial statements and make sure that things are reported accurately and fairly and in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So we understand that's in addition to the day-to-day operations that must continue. So we do really extend our appreciation and gratitude for the professionalism and the timeliness of responses to requests for working with our team. It really does make our jobs so much easier and be able to issue the reports timely and in accordance with Illinois statutes, which require audited financial statements to be available within 6 months of the fiscal year end. So that's first and foremost what I want to highlight is our appreciation to you, the library. The independent auditor's report in the annual financial report is where you'll find our opinion, and that's on page number 1 of the annual financial report. And I am pleased to report a clean, unmodified opinion on the library's financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2025. That is the highest level of assurance that we can provide. That's based on, as I noted, the audit conducted in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. What that lets you know is that the audited financial statements can be relied upon and are presented accurately and fairly based on the testing that we conducted. So we call that a clean opinion, and that's what you're hoping for. There were no GASB pronouncements, no changes to reporting standards that impacted the financial statement reporting this year, so it's fairly consistent with the reporting that was completed in the prior year. No new footnote disclosure requirements or changes in how items are accounted for or reported in the financial statements. The basic financial statements, which follow the independent auditor's report, and that begins on page number 4 of the annual financial report, as well as page number 5, the statement of net position and statement of activities. Those two statements are reported annually to comply with reporting requirements, and they are reported on a full accrual basis of accounting. So these include long-term assets and liabilities that you're not typically reviewing at your board meetings and the financial packets that you're reviewing on a monthly basis. Items incorporated into these balances are long-term assets such as your capital assets net of accumulated depreciation, long-term liabilities that are defined by government GASB pronouncements as items that are not to be repaid within 1 year. So anything that extends beyond 1 year, your net pension liabilities, if you carry any debt that matures in greater than 1 year, those types of balances are reported and reflected in these full accrual financial statements. They're also reported in consolidated for the library's funds in total. So rather than reporting individually by fund, you see the information aggregated and reported consolidated for the library's governmental activities. The basic financial statements continue on page 6 and 8 with the balance sheet for the governmental funds and the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances. These two statements are reported to you on a modified accrual basis of accounting, so more in line with what you're used to reviewing on a monthly basis, more the assets that are receivables are expected to be collected within 60 to 90 days of fiscal year end, and liabilities that are anticipated to be paid off within a year. So your typical accounts payable that stem from your regular operations. That's the type of activity that's reflected here. And you're also seeing the general fund and the non-major or the special reserve fund reported individually as opposed to consolidated in total. Following those basic financial statements are the footnotes to the financial statements. As I noted, there's no changes to no GASB pronouncements, nothing that impacted the reporting in the financial statements, so your footnotes are pretty consistent with how they've been reported in prior years. There were no items of note outside of kind of the general significant accounting policies that are discussed in the footnotes. You'll find some great information in footnotes if you choose to read through those related to your long-term debt activity, capital asset activity, as well as the pension plans of the library, IMRF, and the Municipal Employment Retirement Fund as well. And then following the footnotes to the financial statements, you'll find some historical schedules for the library's pension plans, the other post-employment benefit plan. That information is available, IMRF available for 10 years of reporting now, so that 10-year historical reporting is going to continue now that you have 10 years of data available. The other plans are available for 8 years and will build up to 10 years of historical presentation similar to IMRF. And then you'll also find budget versus actual schedules for the library's funds, where you can see how each fund performed as compared to what was budgeted for the fiscal year. This kind of highlights from the financial statements and hopefully helps you understand how to read through and where to find certain key pieces of information. Beyond the financial statements, the board communication, which is the smaller of the two packets. As I noted, that's where we report certain items that our auditing standards require us to communicate to the board. Kind of repeating some of the items that were noted in the independent auditor's report. There was no changes to accounting policies or procedures, no GASB pronouncements that were implemented that impacted the financial statements. There were no disagreements with management and no issues encountered during the performance of the audit, so that's disclosed here in the communication to the board. Corrected and uncorrected misstatements. The majority of the corrected audit adjusting journal entries which are listed in this packet relate to more of the year-end reporting, the long-term asset and liability balances, so that fiscal year and full accrual basis of accounting reporting. What that lets you know is because there weren't significant changes to the fund financial statements, the reporting that you're reviewing on a monthly basis, that modified accrual is relatively consistent with what's reported in the financial statements, and so that can be relied upon for making your financial decisions. There were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies encountered during the audit process. Otherwise, those would be discussed here with recommendations for improvement as well, but no such items were noted throughout the audit process and throughout the procedures that we performed. Otherwise, we just list future accounting pronouncements that may impact the library's reporting. Any questions on either of the reports?
I don't think so. Very good, Jeff, any questions or? Yeah.
I met with them earlier this week.
Oh, okay,
Just
good.
beforehand,
Okay.
to kind of get
Yeah.
an understanding.
Very thorough, yeah. Anyone have any questions? Don't want to cut anybody off or, no. No. Thank you for going through that and for your time tonight. We really appreciate, the long partnership with Sikich and so thank you for coming. Thank you for your ownership for tonight, yeah. No, I think we're good. Any questions for Martha? No? Yeah. Again, you're welcome to stay, but please feel free to go, so, yeah, but thank you so much for coming.
No
and for your
problem,
time
thank you
tonight.
so much.
Yeah.
I can make it back for bedtime.
There you go, okay, good.
Yeah, get home safe.
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah, drive safe, yeah. Hopefully not too far to go, but.
Not too far.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Oh,
see the flag?
Yeah, it's like. Thanks, Martha.
Good night.
All right, so we will go back to, so we're on the consent agenda. Quick note that in front of you, you have a copy of the corrected board minutes. There were some typos that were noted. So we can still approve the consent agenda, but that'll just be the corrected minutes that are in front of us, not the ones that were included in our packets. Having said that, is there anything that anyone would like to pull off of the consent agenda? Then I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the regular board meeting minutes for May 14, 2026, and the approval of the May 2026 financial statements.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll vote on that. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Misajen,
Yes.
Moldowski,
Yes.
Pelletier, yes, Suarez.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Next is the president's report. Well, I want to officially welcome Julia to the team. Do we have, what was the date that Julia started?
April 20th, maybe?
Yeah?
Yeah, it was like the last week of May.
Okay. Yeah. Well, extend our welcome to Julia. That's all I have. So then we're down to committee reports. Finance we covered under the consent agenda. Facilities, I'm thinking maybe let's look at, sometimes it's good to do an exterior walkthrough maybe in the summer months. Maybe we can kind of look at what we think we can even do like before, one of the next meeting dates. We can kind of like, we can kind of put our heads together and see what maybe like would be a good time for everyone's schedule. I know the summer is busy, so I will get that scheduled. Policy, is there a meeting?
Meeting next week, Tuesday.
Awesome. So then, we're down to staff reports. First, is there anything that you would like to highlight or add?
Yeah, there's just a couple things I wanted to highlight. Already, for summer reading sign up, for the youth services department, they've already had 637 signups as of 1 o'clock today, and I will be honest, I was down there in the afternoon and I heard people still signing up. So that number is constantly increasing. Adults have had 126 logs completed. 12 teen logs have also been completed as well already. It's only been 11 days into the program. We actually reached a significant milestone in May. The STEM and Aid stand made its 12,000 kit to give out to participants since its inception in June of 2020.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just really want the board to know that this was something that was inspired and made by Jess Alexander, the youth services reference librarian. They thought of this all on their own during COVID when the building was closed. It was a way to connect with patrons and to still provide resources. So, and I know that
they were reached out to after it was initiated. It was copied by many places. A lot of actual companies inquired about using it to sell for purposes. So just really proud of Jess and the program that they created, and that they've reached this significant milestone of giving out the 25,000 kit in May. Another couple things I just wanted to highlight, and it was in the packet about some of the programs that occurred this month. When Karina and I went to the Spring Market Fair that Saturday, the previous night was the Music Bingo and Mocktails event, the NGPL After Dark event, and the patrons that we had spoken with at the Spring Fair had attended that event as well and loved it. So it was just really nice hearing how excited patrons got for Music Bingo and the mocktails that Melissa created for them. It was also run by Nate Miller, the Adult Services Librarian as well. It was 27 participants, I think, attended, which is really well for a Friday night event here at the library. Another thing I just wanted to highlight too, and I just, being a part of the department emails, and I did see this working at the Access Services desk, a thing that was created by Marlene Mark was the senior activity kits that are generated every month. I know that an email was sent out recently where they had to create extra kits for the last month because it has been so popular and it's growing in popularity. So it's just another thing that I wanted to highlight that staff have created here. The senior activity kits include puzzles, fun facts, quizzes. In this current month, there's an origami activity that they can participate in. So just something, once again, that just want to highlight the staff's creativity and how they're able to find unique ways to connect with patrons in the community. So real quick, I just wanted to highlight the security cameras were installed. They calibrated the cameras. Leighton and I and Tim have access to the footage now. Monday or Tuesday of next week, we're going to go through training with how to access the prior footage if we need to. We do have signage up on the doors. I did get signage for the back of the building. It just hasn't been put up yet because he has to drill into the walls. But we are going to post 2 signs in the back of the building as well because there are 2 cameras posted back there. So we are going to do that as well. So I just wanted to make sure we knew that we were going to do that. So.
Yeah. I want to express some appreciation for Melissa and her team. They did a program in recognition of Mental Health Awareness Month. Partnered with NAMI and you know, whether or not there was a high attended program or not, guarantee that's going to help someone. And I think that that's, you know, it's an important thing to make sure that that's a focus. So I thought that was great. Any questions for Jeff or? Okay. All right.
Actually, yes, good question. So the ALA is coming up in Chicago, and I didn't know if you were going to communicate. Are there any opportunities for trustees? Anything you would encourage us to go to or check out?
Yeah, actually, I can look into that to see if there are anything specific for trustees. There.
Okay.
I would say that I've been to PLA before. I've never been to ALA. I know that PLA does have things that are more focused on trustees because it is for public libraries.
Yeah.
ALA is more of a general library focused event, and so it includes, besides public libraries, university libraries, specialized libraries. So I don't know if they have specifically things focused on trustees.
Okay.
If you ever were interested in going to an event, PLA would probably be the better event for trustees. I can look to see because I actually started looking at some of the programming for ALA as well, especially for space use, that they are having some programs on that. So I was actually interested in not only going to that, but also the exhibit hall. But I can look in to see if there are any programming that's focused on trustees. But if you are interested in that, PLA is actually, there's amazing programming for trustees at PLA, and which it just occurred in April of this year, but it's every 2 years.
Okay.
So it will be occurring again in 2028, and I will most likely want to attend that in 2028. And I know that we did have a couple staff members attend this year, but I can look. But yeah, PLA is more geared towards, right, Lane? Wouldn't you agree with?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. So, we go on to unfinished business, bathroom renovation punch items.
So one of the punch items has been completed. They replaced the mirror in the women's bathroom, so that's finally done.
Close the gap.
The gaps are closed. That did occur last month. There's only one more punch item remaining, and it is the soap dispenser. It is the actual soap dispenser that's malfunctioning. Tim has been in contact with SMC. Apparently, SMC's response to that is they are working with the manufacturer of the soap dispenser to find resolution to it. Which in Tim's mind is, it's under warranty, it's not working, just send us a new one.
Yeah, what?
Why won't you just do that? So,
They don't want to pay for it, they
Yeah.
want the manufacturer to pay for it.
right, so that's the final thing we're waiting on, but
So is there soap somewhere else in the bathroom then?
so they do have, I'm pretty sure they have the just hand dispensers out for people.
Okay.
Yeah, in place of it, the
There's
soap
something.
dispenser.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there. Okay, so we're under, new business, we did the presentation of the 2025 audit. So next is the proposal for the Lyra Communications Group, phone and internet services. And this is something that, you and Karina worked on together, or you and Karina met with Lyra? Or?
Yeah, it was Leighton. So initially, and I did get a little bit more background. This was initiated before I became director. The background is in 2025 of March, we hold quarterly business reviews with OSG. And at that review, it was asked who was our internet and phone service provider. And so they mentioned that they have a sister company that works under the same umbrella company. It's just Lyra, Lyra Technology Group basically houses OSG and Lyra Communications together. So he mentioned to Pam and Leighton, hey, this is someone you should potentially reach out to. You might be able to get a better deal through this company than the one you're currently getting with Comcast. So they set up communications with Lyra. As part of that, Leighton sent them some of the invoicing from Comcast so that they can do an analysis of the services that we currently have with Comcast, and then what Lyra could provide with us and a cost for what they would be able to provide for the same services. And so then there was kind of communication back and forth throughout 2025. It really started to ramp up again at the end of 2025 going into 2026. Finally, once they came back with the cost analysis, that's when I had been hired as director. So I did sit in on the proposal meeting with Leighton. We ended up bringing Karina over to the meeting because one of the things I wanted her to look at was one of the issues we've been having with Comcast. They call it their voice solution platform, but the platform that we currently use with Comcast is not very user-friendly. And there are issues when we do have to make the closing announcements when we're closed for holidays, that it is kind of a difficult thing to go in and do. There have been issues in the past too with setting phones up, changing out phone lines and voicemail and things like that. I had Karina come over and look at their voice solutions platform, and just looking at the presentation he gave on that, she can speak on it too if she wants for a minute, that it was a better platform and more user-friendly than what's currently available with Comcast. The thing that I really appreciated about the meeting with them was the customer support aspect, not only the improved voice solutions platform, but they call it the advanced monitoring. And so what that does is they're constantly monitoring our internet connection, and if there's if it seems that it's slowing down or it's just there's a disruption in service, they immediately reach out to the internet provider. They also immediately contact us to let us know that there is an outage and that they've communicated that with the provider. And they keep trying to escalate a ticket with the internet provider to increase the likelihood that it gets fixed quicker with the provider. Currently, that's not occurring with Comcast. Generally, what happens when the internet goes down in the building, the first thing we have to try to do is determine, is there an outage? And the problem is the internet's down, so it's hard to get onto Comcast's website to determine if there's an outage. So usually, typically when the internet has gone down in the building, it's either an internet outage or there's something wrong in the server room. So usually when the internet goes down, that's the first thing we're trying to figure out is well, what's the issue? Is it an internet issue or is it a server issue? So just the fact that they have this advanced monitoring service where they would immediately inform us of the outage would also just greatly improve the efficiency of trying to resolve an issue like that. The other big key to this is currently we only have one primary internet connection with Comcast. With this proposal, they would, our primary internet connection would be an AT&T fiber broadband, which is more reliable and it would be at a faster rate. And if you guys want an explanation of the rate, Layton's actually excellent at explaining that. But the other great thing is we would have a secondary backup internet connection with a cable broadband connection with Comcast, and it's at a speed and rate which would still allow internet capability within the library while they're working on getting the primary backup and running, which we currently don't have. So when our internet goes down, we are completely down until it comes back up, which also means our phones are down as well. So just the fact that we could get phone service, a primary internet connection, and a secondary internet connection for a decrease in price, a monthly cost, I thought was good. There was a question that was brought up by a board member about the relationship between Lyra and OSG. They did respond saying it is a sister company, that they work under the umbrella of the same company, Lyra Technology Group. And they said the benefit to this is that there's a higher bar set by Lyra then, because since they work under the same umbrella, as an OSG customer, Brian and his team can kind of monitor how Lyra is working with us, and if there are issues with Lyra, OSG can communicate that to the overarching company to make sure that Lyra is providing the best services possible. And also they're required to live in a level of transparency and accountability that the direct providers are not held to whatsoever. They said this results in quicker response time, faster escalations, and an overall better customer experience. Another question was how long have they been working with libraries, and they responded they have been working with libraries for the past 5 years now. Yeah, that was.
One question that I had was, so looks like they're quoting a 3-year contract period. It looks like kind of like a fixed price for those first 3 years. And you do say that it, Lyra has competitive wholesale prices that are static. So do you have an idea of, are they going to increase after that? After that 3-year contract?
I think there would be a renegotiation.
Yeah.
And if you could see in the proposal that they actually sent, the monthly cost is actually, it's $1,300 something. But then I added on what we're currently paying in the state and regulatory fees to get it up to that $1,679.
Yep.
Over that 3-year period, that $1,300 per month stays flat. The only thing that would increase is the state regulatory fees. But I do think we would have to renegotiate after that 3-year contract to see what rates they could get us through AT&T and Comcast. So that's one of the better parts of this proposal is currently Comcast is just raising the rates every year on internet and phones.
Because they can.
Yes.
Yeah.
This rate stays flat the entire 3-year period. The only thing that could potentially increase are whatever state regulatory fees would increase over that time period. So.
And would those apply even if we were with Comcast as well?
Yes, that's it, no matter who you're with, yeah. And we're paying, I think when we looked it up, it's $279 or $280 a month in state and regulatory fees alone that gets added onto the bill. Layton pulled it out for me.
And are they committed to not adding any other fees during this time? Because that's...
Yeah, this is the flat rate.
Did you look into AT&T or other providers?
I haven't to see what the cost would be. For me, part of the thing that I liked about this deal was the customer service aspect, and also seeing the platform that we already have with Comcast, and that how this is made to be customer friendly, and they're also there. They would provide better support for us than what we're currently getting with Comcast. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, what I would assume we would also get with AT&T. And also, I didn't mention this in the proposal, but because they are sister companies, one of the things we could do to make it easier for staff if we did have to do a customer support ticket, because OSG and Lyra work together, we can keep our same customer support ticket that we have, system that we have with OSG, and keep it the same with Lyra. So where staff wouldn't have to learn a new method of doing customer support tickets with Lyra, they could just provide a customer support ticket with OSG, and it gets elevated to Lyra to then where it gets resolved. But I have not done further research into what the contract would be if we tried to redo a contract with Comcast or AT&T.
Quick question. It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lyra kind of is like, they will do the shopping around to see based off of what we're asking for, what our needs are, and then they'll like put a package together for us. Did they provide like a breakdown of like what AT&T costs are, what the Comcast are, that would like make a, I guess like a more itemized, 'cause I'm just curious, like,
I believe, Layton, did they submit that to us?
I thought they had something, yeah.
They did, I feel like they
So-
did.
Somewhat related to that, as a matter of procedure, if a company says, we wanna know what you're paying for maintenance services, or do they typically need to submit a FOIA request, or can they just ask and the library will say, here's what we're currently paying?
So if it wasn't something that we were pursuing, that's definitely a FOIA request. But because we were pursuing this,
Okay.
that's why we did give that. And also one of the reasons why we did pursue this was because it was recommended by a current vendor that we are using that we do trust and we've had great experiences with.
Yeah,
So that is a reason why we did pursue this, to see what pricing they do offer, what kind of services they would and could provide for us.
so one of my concerns, go ahead and answer.
Oh, I was gonna say, so I did find from that initial screen grab, and it was the hosted voice solution was about $800, I believe, a month. The AT&T fiber portion of it was $349, and then the low-level Comcast cable for the backup system was $199.
thank you.
So one of my concerns is, well, first of all, I hadn't heard Pam say this was something that we're thinking about, so it sort of came out of the blue, and I didn't know that it was something that was being pursued. And so, wondering where this came from, I started Googling, and Lyra Communication, this whole group is under a holding company that's funded by private equity, and private equity funded holding companies generally are not, in my experience and my understanding, great long-term partners. So that concerns me, that like, are we gonna get through all 4 years with everything being intact or not? I mean, that said, Comcast and AT&T, just because they're behemoths doesn't mean that, you know, they've changed too, but that did concern me.
Well, I mean, and you also did confirm with some neighboring libraries as well too.
I got one, I'll be honest, I got one response. There were a couple that didn't respond yet.
Well, but
So I did want to put in what I did get though.
Yeah.
But you did do your homework with that, so, which is, you know, is appreciated. I will say in support of OSG and their recommendation, they have been a very stable source for the library. They have been a stable provider, and so giving them the benefit of the doubt, I'd like to think that someone that they would recommend, like, you know, and this is the positive part about networking. If you have a company that you trust that gives you a recommendation of another company, we could be saving money, essentially getting more Wi-Fi service and more coverage for the library. You know, I think it's something that we should definitely be considering. And anyone else who hasn't got a chance to speak their mind about this?
I like it. We're gonna
Yeah, I
pay up
like
to
it.
10 grand
Yeah.
for that 3-year period and get better
It's so much is
services.
gonna change in 3 years.
Yeah,
anyway,
and then
so
you
I-
reevaluate
yeah.
and see if it worked. Alright, so you're thinking they won't fulfill their contract for 3 years? Is that your?
I don't know, I'm just saying I don't have a fondness for private equity backed holding companies, and I think they are operating in general, operating the interest of a handful of shareholders rather than
The same
Are
argument
we
we
making
made
it?
with,
Are we-
for AT&T and Comcast and any other big, company like that too.
You can, or it can be tabled to another.
I'm saying, are we making the decision as to what we do?
Well, and as you can see, like, from the, from Jeff's notes, I mean, that is Jeff's suggested motion so he can move forward, with the switch to sign this proposal and get the ball rolling. Now, we can table this. If we choose to, I would also advise us, is there additional information, homework that we'd like to give Jeff, that we'd like to help answer some questions that we have about this? Or are we just thinking about it? This is, are we thinking about it just to think about it, or do we have some specific questions that Jeff can look into for us?
I don't know. I think you did a pretty good job.
I feel that I would be more comfortable if we had some competitive research. It's not quite at the $25,000 level contract, but it's also pretty close. That's my thought.
That's right. So we review things over a certain threshold?
Over a certain threshold, you have to do an RFP kind of process and get multiple bidders and this kind of thing. We are not required to do that for something like this. This is something where, if we so choose, and we found the information, I think, given Jeff's history as well too, he's usually pretty thoughtful about these kind of proposals that he puts in front of the board as well too, so.
I also don't mind doing more research.
No, I know you
Yeah.
don't, but if we wanted to do, if we wanted, I would just like something specific, if we're gonna give Jeff some more homework to do, then let's say, do we want, 2 other comparisons, with kind of comparable numbers?
I guess I just wanna make sure that we're not stepping over something that we don't have to. If this is a decision that Pam would have made, then let's let Jeff make it.
Yeah.
If it was over a certain amount, I would totally be like,
Yeah.
audit the heck out of it, but it's not.
Yeah. Personally, I'd be comfortable with moving forward with Lyra Communications, but if a few of us are feeling like you'd like the comparison between Lyra and AT&T or something like that, then we certainly can. But I just want to make sure I'm hearing everybody.
Yeah, no, the reason I got excited because I feel like and again, I don't know much about this, but just kind of whether it was presented, what I'm understanding, I can appreciate working with a company that was recommended by somebody that we already work with, that is going to do the homework for us essentially to find which other vendors, one of which we're already working for, that's gonna kind of put together a customized package for us, and lock us in for 3 years. Cool, great, and after that time is up, it's gonna be up to them to try and find us something as competitive in order to maintain us as a client. If not, we're on to the next. So I feel more confident, this is a little exciting to me, just to say. And of course the cost savings also are, sparkly and
Right. Yeah. Mohammed?
It seems like a no-brainer. It's cheaper with better service, and I did find it odd though that they're recommending a company that they're also associated with. So there is kind of like a little bit of a.
like a conflict of interest.
I don't want to say
How?
Yes.
No, wait,
That's-
how?
No,
because
that's
they're
what I thought,
funneling
yeah.
more business back into their company.
That's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not gonna recommend your
As a,
partner companies to,
You're gonna recommend who's best.
but then
in their eyes, this is what's
But
best.
then you know what I mean.
They're not gonna
It
recommend
does seem like
somebody
you
bad.
have to look for a little bit of a bias there. You know what I mean?
It's not necessarily a bad thing to just have on your radar. OSG's job is to make sure that our staff's computers are working the way they're supposed to, and a big part of that is Wi-Fi and connectivity. And it can
And if
maybe
they're
help you
connected
guys,
already-
maybe
Yeah,
something
it
like
makes it
another
easier.
backup that
Yeah.
has a Wi-Fi, but so there's also that part of it that I was also thinking about, so.
No, it does seem more streamlined to have it all be under the same umbrella. At the same time, I also think
Totally get it.
they have a profit motive to recommend their subsidiary.
I get it.
I don't see anything that makes it seem like a bad choice, but that did, I mean, to me, that seemed a little weird.
Yeah, but they're offering for better
Yeah.
connection and less money. So I feel like it's a win.
If it was for more money.
Or like not, right, that, and you're like, oh, and it's gonna be so much slower, and then
Yeah.
reviews.
But
So we're gonna use it
you know.
because, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we
Favoritism.
recommend it.
Right, so the cynical way of looking at it, which is my way apparently, is that, in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, when they go to sell this holding company, we provide all these services, we have these clients who are not only getting the technology solution in this area of their business, but they're also getting in that area of the business, and we're a really powerful company, and
I will say too.
then it gets split apart after that.
That Mark mentioned this, but one of my responsibilities too is to review contracts like this and
Yeah.
to analyze things and to think about the fiduciary responsibility I have for the
Sure.
the library and the taxpayers, and so it is something that could be looked at again. Like you're mentioning, near the end of the 3-year contract, maybe then you do look at what else is out there and potentially are there other cost savings, because being in Access Services and some of the vendors I've had to work with, we have had vendors just cold call us and offer potential new
Right.
solutions for us that are actually better than what we're currently using. So I think like I said, I wasn't in on the initial discussion with this and what occurred, but I think it was because it was coming from OSG, who was a trusted vendor and who has done a great job for us so far. That's why it was something why they did look into it.
And I have a question. Does the majority of us have an issue with it, or is it like are we over discussing this because it's his decision and he gave us a proposal?
Well,
Unless-
we're voting
unless
on
you
it,
have-
it says we're voting
No,
on it.
yeah.
We need to vote on it.
Can I move to vote?
Okay.
Yeah.
We can make a motion.
We can-
We haven't motioned.
We haven't motioned, but, I wanted to make sure that we had the discussion about it. Well, here, we can vote, why it's worth having the discussion for me is that it's, I wanna make sure everyone's concerns and voices are being heard, and, and that's what, so we get those out there, so.
Yeah.
But we can certainly move forward with voting. Again, if there's certain, additional info that we want, this is, a 3-year contract that we're looking at. Not forever, it's certainly something that, we wanna make sure that we always wanna make sure there's connectivity for our staff, for our patrons, there's backup involved, there's phone, so, and if we need to do some future analysis and something that's gonna work better, then that's what we do, so. I'll go ahead and open up for a motion, I'll make a motion to approve switching from Comcast Business, signing a contract with their communications group to be the library's phone and internet provider.
Second.
Do you want to discuss more, or do you want me to take vote?
If anyone has anything else that they would like to, add on, you vote as you feel comfortable.
Okay. Hussein,
Yes.
Messenger,
Yes.
Moldavsky,
Abstain.
Pelletier, yes. Sorry, Flores,
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your thoughts and, for that, yes. Communications, we received 2 communications in May. A customer service, so this is from, a comment card that from, this is for Win, right?
Yeah.
Very sweet. And, okay. Mrs. Lund writes thank you notes on occasion. I don't know, have you guys, if Kimberly and Ileana, have you guys seen hers yet? She will regularly just write thank you notes when she see, you know, and this was for a good book recommended. Her notes are just so sweet. And more people should just write a thank you note when they write, you know.
She sent me a card when I got this position.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah.
Did she really?
Yeah.
It's so sweet, you know. Yeah, thank you for including, I think those always make me happy, so. HR University, did you get it?
Yeah, I forgot. I did get into Rutgers University. So
Okay.
thank you for changing the August board date.
Okay, yeah, awesome. I figured you would.
It actually starts on remotely online June 22nd.
Oh,
So it's all summer, and then
Yeah.
the conclusion is the 3 days in August.
awesome, so good, yeah. Hi Karina. Hi. Do you wanna like talk to us or anything, or?
I have shirts, but we can.
Okay.
That's from,
I
I'm
was
reading
trying
a
to run out of things to
550
wear.
page book. and
Oh,
it's gonna
it's
take
gonna
a
take
while.
Well, we're writing public comments, not agenda items. Anything else you want to talk about? No? Okay. Okay, so, folks, so we are, I'll have this on our calendars. Our next board meeting will be Thursday, July 9th. As a reminder, we did move, the August board meeting to, we did the week after, is that correct?
20th.
The 20th. Okay, and I just wanted to repeat that because, you know, make sure that everybody has
Thank
that.
you, I did not have it on my calendar yet.
Yeah, no, I know.
That was helpful.
And it seems like so, like August, and
We're
school's
gonna
starting
blink.
already, and you know, and, okay, everybody, so we won't see you until after July 4th. So have a good July 4th holiday. It is 7:48, and we have a meeting adjourned.